Hello and welcome back to another episode of Quick Spin, the Autoweek podcast that gets to the essence of the automobile. Today, we've got an extra special episode. We are talking about the 2021 Audi RS6 Avant. That's right, the hot Audi station wagon is the star of the show. But wait, there's more. We also are joined by the great Natalie, Neff, and Patrick Carone, who both had a chance to drive this very, very cool Audi. We're going to talk about this Audi in just a second. But before that, you can check it out on our Instagram page. That's at Autoweek USA. While you're flipping through your phone, you can also head to our Facebook page. That's right, click the like button, and that way you get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily. And one last thing before we talk about this Audi, we've got to pay the bills. Our friends at Road and Trek have some big news to share. The premium lifestyle magazine for the automotive enthusiast is now fully loaded. Become a member of the Trek Club and receive 6 supersized double issues a year, plus access to digital content, dozens of partner privileges, exclusive invites to editorial events, and first dibs on insider automotive events both online and around the world. Hop on in by visiting roadandtrack.com/join. That's ROADANDTRACK.com/JOIN. And Natalie and Patrick, whoa, 2 guests, 1 show? What the heck is going on here? This is calamity. Tell me about this Audi. You guys both had the 2021 Audi RS6 Avant, or as normal people would say, that Audi station wagon. What was it like?
First of all, thank you for having me on, Dub. This is my first visit to the Quick Spin studio, aka Zoom. We had it just for a couple of days here, and it was, honestly, the most exciting car we've had in the driveway, probably, since before the pandemic.
And we couldn't pick a better time considering the blizzard that hit when the car was delivered.
Oh, no, totally. We've been in constant blizzard this entire month. So, a little bit of apprehension knowing that we were getting this car delivered, but in all assurance that it would be delivered with snow tires. And indeed it was. And combined with the Quattro, there was, the 591 horsepower. It was only a little bit, anxiety inducing at that point. But no, this was the most happily anticipated car to arrive in our driveway. And it pulled up right next to the Jeep Gladiator, which we'd been in for a week and a half at that point. So it was fully welcome.
I'm going to agree with you, Natalie. It was, with the exception of the F8 Spider that I got to drive right when sort of quarantine lifted, this was definitely the most anticipated and exciting car that I've driven during quarantine. So yeah, for sure.
And speaking of being right next to a Jeep Gladiator, the great Natalie Neff gives us a quick walk around of this 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 powered Audi right now.
All right, here I am in my driveway, standing in the freezing rain on this lovely overcast February day. But warming me up is the fact that I am standing here looking at this absolutely stunning red Audi RS6 Avant, or wagon. It's red, like I said, and it's got I believe they call it the optic black package, which means the entire front grille, even the 4 rings of the Audi symbol up front are all completely blacked out. It gives it a pretty mean looking face up front. Down below, kind of the side sill trim is in black. It's got the larger 22-inch tires, which are just enormous looking, the way the car is kind of hunkered down onto them. And in back, again, the badging is all in black, as well as the lower fascia on the rear. Now, I also had to bring out a tape measure with me because one thing that stands out on this rear view is the tailpipes are absolutely massive. They're kind of squat oval tips, and a pair of them on each side down below. And they are 8 inches across each. Now they're fairly squat, so they're only 4 inches top to bottom, but just gigantic exhaust tips out the back. And the roof rails are black as well. So the black touches against this red body are just really, really give it a nice look overall. And, whereas I see a lot of people saying that this is kind of a mean, looking machine, I have to say, I think it must have something to do with the actual station wagon body. But because it's such a larger shape overall, it really wears all these exaggerated forms really, really in a balanced way. The wheels are pushed out to the corners and they're giant in the wheel wells. But, again, in proportion to the rest of the car, it just looks well suited. Even the enormous grill that stretches from side. I mean, it's a 3-part grill, really. The corner triangle openings in front, you can see they're actual openings, and there's radiators behind all 3 openings. I mean, the overall effect is these very, very large character features of the car are worn really nicely by the size of the overall vehicle.
I couldn't agree more. But no, so Patrick and Natalie, both, you guys had the same car at the same time, 1,000 miles away. I don't know how far away New York is, to be honest.
I think that either there was like a glitch in the space-time continuum, or Audi is speccing all of these the exact same way, because mine is exactly what Natalie described. Same thing.
And I think this gives a quick spin a very peculiar chance. 2 people who drove the same car can talk about it. What do you guys have to say?
It doesn't often happen, but the instant I sat down that I got behind the wheel of this, like everything just like fit perfectly. And it's kind of funny too, because, you were talking about those giant wheels and the giant tires. I actually thought the steering wheel was bigger than I'm used to with these sportier cars. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I was driving like an M550, which, BMW has those really like spongy wheels, and they're like, they're not very big circumference, and it's very different. This was like a little thinner. It didn't have that spongy feel, but I really liked it. I thought that it felt really natural. And did you notice that same thing, Natalie?
Yeah. And on top of it, completely. But also it was weighted. The steering feel itself was weighted just right. It wasn't overly heavy. Like some cars have to feel the need to like telegraph their sporting intent by making the wheel like really like high effort. But no, I thought that the steering wheel effort was perfectly weighted all around. And yeah, I responded very, very positively to all of the interfaces of driving the car.
Well, speaking of driving the car, Natalie takes us on a little drive review. That's right. She takes us shotgun in the Audi RS6 Avant, which we're going to go to right now.
Okay, let's start it up. It's got a really nice snarl right at startup, but in no ways is it obnoxious. There's some cars that when you start it up, just sitting in your driveway, it's like a giant middle finger to your entire neighborhood, and that's fun once in a while. But if you live anywhere in a suburban or city, environment, not really cool. So here we are. I'm backing out of my tight, icy driveway. I'm just going to take it around the block a little bit. I did get to drive it on some dry pavement the other day, very briefly. So let's see how it does in this icy weather. My foil for this car this week is the Jeep Gladiator. So, whereas I think that had I just gotten into this car clean out of any other sports car, my reaction would have been one of glee. Climbing out of a Jeep Gladiator and getting into this 591 horsepower, like spectacular machine is one of utter and abject glee, if you can call it that. This car drives like a proverbial dream. There's power at every turn. It's never overwhelming though. You stomp on the gas, and I think our friends at Carone Driver clocked the 0 to 60 at just a hair over 3 seconds, and it feels every bit as quick as that, if not quicker. There's the front end bites nicely when you're kind of pushing hard, and even in these icy conditions right now, it just has no problem whatsoever giving you almost all of the performance at hand while still dealing with, making it through the ice and snow. I mean, we can obviously talk about performance forever when you're dealing with 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. But what makes this such a, beautiful, well-rounded package is not only the fact that as a station wagon, I'm so grateful to have that kind of utility with me for, doing my daily errands, whatever else. I'm generally a station wagon kind of gal, so that is something that I'm very much a fan of with this car. But even at freeway speeds, this car is quiet and still gives you a very serene environment in which to kind of keep the icy, blizzardy conditions outside at bay. It just makes for an overall really enjoyable ride.
If there's a young person in your life who's really into cars, give them the gift of R&T Crew, the ultimate subscription box by Road and Track for kids ages 6 to 10. Every other month, a box is delivered to their door and is stuffed with cool accessories, fun activities, and a magazine chock full of facts, stories, games, and more. Sign up now and receive the all-new Crushin' It issue and enter the code Autoweek for 10% off an annual box subscription. Just head to rtcrew.com, that's rtcrew.com, and use the code AUTOWEEK. We try to get to the essence of the automobile. That's right, we are diving into the raison d'etre of this car from two perspectives. This is a new one. We're going to see how this one goes. And I think, Natalie, you can fire us off. What is the essence of the Audi RS6 Avant?
The essence of the Audi RS6 Avant. I can't help but, emphasize the fact that this car is completely self-possessed. It doesn't have any flamboyance to it, despite the fact that it's got the creds to be able to, wave its performance flag. If you think about driving up to the stoplight and seeing that 911 driver with the badge delete package, but his spoiler deployed at the stoplight, this doesn't give two hoots about what anybody else is expecting of it or thinking, because it's a station wagon, for Christ's sake. Now, it's a really, really fast station wagon, and it doesn't find like any, they're not mutually exclusive things in the Audi vocabulary. So the essence of it is to be the most family-friendly sports car you can possibly buy. And
actually, Natalie, to that point, there's part of me that even though I thought it looked gorgeous in red, like mine was also that same, as we know, we had the same exact car somehow, that same bright red. But part of me kind of wanted it not to be that bright red, so you could kind of lean into the DL-ness, right, of driving the station wagon that's faster than 99.9% of anything else on the road. I don't think I would get my personal one red. Let's put it that way.
When you put your $120,000 down for it, right?
Exactly.
I think even with the red, it still was completely, confident in its own need not to shout out to the world, despite the fact that it was flaming red and all.
And this is why I'm a big advocate for ordering Camry champagne on all of your exotic cars, because nothing makes a car stand out like Camry champagne. But I think that's a good place to wrap this one up. Don't forget to head over to the Apple Podcast Store, drop us a little 5-star review, and let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear about in the future. Also, hey, don't forget to head over to our Facebook page and click that like button so you get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily. But most importantly, and I know I just said this, but I can't stress this enough, without your listenership, this couldn't happen. So thank you for listening.